Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, possibly for some, not sure. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Two City Vegans, welcome. Marie, is that, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody. Hi from Ontario. Hello, suburban Snow White. And looks like some newbies and some regulars on here. Hello from Norway. Gosh, a lot of regulars. If you're new here, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you and we can get started right away. Just gonna give a few more people a chance to come in. This is a topic that may be popular if you're interested in sharing. You may want to share it right now. You want to just click on the number on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Hello, K Sarah, and share with folks. And you can do that also by swiping left to right on your iPhone or up on your Android. Hi, everybody. Hi, Heather. Hi, Matt. Hello from Oakland. Yes, 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 yes. Hi, everybody. So we have a, oh gosh, please, God, I hope that you couldn't see how dirty my windows are. My windows are really dirty. Terrible. It's a lot. Cleaning windows is hard. Hi, everybody. Hi, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really glad to be here today. I can't believe I've been dragged into another conversation about celebrities, but this is the second one that I've done. And, I'm getting advice on how to clean my my windows. So I did a YouTube video on the Beyonce issue. You can go to my YouTube channel, Joyful Vegan, and check out my answer there. But I was on Beyonce, and you'll just have to go in and watch it. But really, it doesn't matter who we're talking about, because whoever we're talking about, really the issue is about expectations. And I have to say, it was really funny because I had heard about it. We were talking about it, and my husband asked me, like, how do you hear about these things? How do you even hear about this? And I try to avoid hearing about these things as much as possible. Like I get roped in because I live in the world. And so I was being interviewed by some folks, and they said, so what do you think about Ellen DeGeneres and her new leather shoe line? And I was like, what? I don't even know what to say to that, because I don't know anything about it. And so, of course, then there was this huge brouhaha online, and people have been asking me my opinion. So I'll just give you a quick background. Ellen DeGeneres, who is a self-proclaimed vegan, she became vegan several years ago, and she came out with a new fashion line. Apparently, she's partnered with Bergdorf Goodman. I can't say those two words together. Those are really hard words to say together. Bergdorf Goodman, BG. And her line is called Ellen by ED or something like that, or ED by Ellen. And so what the problem is, and what people are criticizing, is that the line includes leather and suede shoes, and frankly, what no one's really talking about is cashmere, a lot of cashmere sweaters, etc. So people have been asking me my thoughts about this, and I thought I would just share them with you. And like I said, when I first heard about it, and it wasn't just in the context of what do you think. It was, oh my God, everyone's up in arms. Did you hear about the big brouhaha? Everyone's really upset about this. And my first response in my head was, oh, wait, people had expectations and they were disappointed? Wow, that's surprising. Wow, people had expectations of a celebrity and then they were disappointed? Pfft, big surprise, right? That was my first thought. And I'm going to get back to that, okay? And then my second thought was, when I thought about it, and whatever, thinking about it when it comes to anybody, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a celebrity or not. my second thought was she can't possibly know. She cannot possibly know that leather is not an innocent byproduct. She cannot possibly know that the meat industry is not sustainable on its own, that it relies on skin sales in order to remain profitable. I didn't know that when I was vegetarian. I didn't know that when I was vegetarian, and I was still wearing leather. So people have been writing to her and writing to her company. There have been open letters online. There have been letters that people have been saying that they've been writing to the company. You can call and write and call and write. You can call the company, you can write to the company, and I'll get to that as well, my thoughts about that. But that was my second thought, was that she cannot possibly know that. She cannot possibly know that the reason meat is so cheap is because it's besides the fact that it's subsidized by the government, is because they can sell so much of the animal's other body parts and the skin and the fat for a profit. In fact, and I did a podcast episode on this, maybe some of you have read it or listened to it. It's called Leather is Not an Innocent Byproduct. And in it, I quote the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which says that the skin of animals represents the most economically important byproduct of the meatpacking industry. It accounts for 55 to 60% of the byproduct value of cattle, 55 to 60%. So in other words, the leather industry essentially subsidizes the meat industry. I didn't know that when I was eating meat. And I thought, Ellen can't possibly know that. And I thought, not everybody who understands, people who are in the kind of business that Ellen's in, where you're just in such a huge, you have just this big enterprise. You're not involved in every little tiny element of your business. And I thought, maybe she doesn't know. Maybe she doesn't know about the leather. Maybe she doesn't know that, well, I don't think she knows any of this, but maybe she doesn't know that it's leather. Maybe she didn't make that decision. Now, I'm giving her some credit for that, and maybe I'm wrong, but ultimately, I just thought she cannot possibly know that. Yeah, a cattle accounts for 55 to 60% of the byproduct value of cattle. So again, the leather industry essentially subsidizes the meat industry. It's one of the reasons that meat is so cheap. Besides the fact that it's subsidized by the government in the U.S., it's one of the reasons it's so cheap. Now, it's a huge commodity in the U.S. It's a huge commodity worldwide. It is like the seventh, I think most profitable commodity in the according to the World Trade Organization. So it is a huge, huge commodity. If you're just joining us, everybody, welcome. We're talking about leather. We're talking about Ellen Degeneres, a self-proclaimed vegan who came out with a line of leather shoes, and people have been asking me my thoughts about it, so I thought I would share. If you're interested and you like what I'm saying, of course, thank you for your hearts. Your love is always much appreciated and much valued. You can tap on your screen if you like what you hear, even if you don't like the nasty parts. And of course, please do share. The more you share, the more people can become informed about this information, and the more we can provide a platform for this kind of dialogue, because I think it's really important to have this kind of conversation. If you're new, I'd love to know. If you're new, type in cow. If you're new, type in cow and tell me your name and where you're from. And of course, if you're not new, I recognize your name. So that was my first thought. My first thought was she can't possibly know this about the leather industry. And the second thing, as I said, well, the first thing I thought was like, there's no possible way that people are, have expectations and they're disappointed. That's impossible. Hi. So hi, Miller, Mickey. Hi, Mickey. Welcome. Vic from North Carolina. Judy from Los Angeles. Welcome. Melissa in Dallas. Ottawa, Canada. Kelly. That's wonderful. When I hit the button to share on Twitter, the link is too long to post. That's interesting. Maybe you can cut some of the words out. Yeah, sorry about that. That's good for me to know, because I think when the title's too long, it's hard to share. Maybe you can just put periscope.tv/joyfulvegan so you can cut out everything else. Jennifer, you're new. Painted Goddess. Carrie from Sacramento, Cowtown. Yep. Yeah, just delete a few words. Says Carbon Marvin, it's true. So my first thought was, there's no possible way that people had expectations and were disappointed in a celebrity. No way. And the second thought was, she can't possibly know. So one of the things I talk about in the work that I do as an animal advocate and someone who does dedicate her life to educating people and empowering people to make informed decisions and to make informed choices is to have absolutely no expectations of anybody, anytime, anywhere. So have no expectations of your brother or your father or your mother or your sister or your wife or your husband or your priest or your minister or your neighbor or your grandmother, and certainly do not have any expectations of a stranger. So don't have any expectations of a stranger or a celebrity, even a celebrity who comes out as a vegan, because what happens when that happens? You have all this hope and you have all these expectations, and guess what happens when you have expectations? You become disappointed. There's only one way to become disappointed in this world. One way. And that's if you had expectations about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what the subject is. If you have expectations, or I'll put it this way, I'll flip it around. If you are disappointed, it's because you had expectations. Ellen didn't disappoint you. You became disappointed because you had expectations. That is absolutely difficult to follow sometimes, Granola. It is not easy. That's why this is called practice, living, but it's worth practicing. Muse of the Poet said it's just upsetting because it makes it socially acceptable. Ellen says leather is okay, so other people think so too. Right. The problem is it's Ellen's no different than anybody else. That's what I'm saying. That Ellen did it is no different than anybody else. And the problem is the reason why people are more disappointed about Ellen is because they had expectations of her. It's no different than another company who came out with a line of leather shoes. Like, it's just no different. Okay, big surprise. Okay, what do we do now? What do we do with that now? Do I think Ellen is greedy? Do I think she is evil? Do I think she's like some horrible person? The way I have seen people talk about her is so horrible when I see people put the kinds of things out. And you know what? I would probably have 10,000 more people on this scope right now if I were saying things like, yeah, that's horrible. She should be made into leather shoes. I'm going to make her into a wallet. Some of the things that I've been seeing people say, maybe I would have 50,000 more people on this scope if I said things like that. And maybe that's why I don't, but I'm sorry. That's not what I'm going to say. I do not think she is greedy. I don't think she's a horrible person. I think she's uninformed. I think she's blocked. I think she's missing the boat. Why would you think that she has more access to information than anybody else has? She's not some ethereal being. She's a human being who happens to be a celebrity. There's nothing special about her other than, you know, just her unique specialness as a human being, right? But she has no more access or less access to this information than we do. And I know there are plenty of people who don't have the information, who don't look at the information, who can easily slide back into ignorance. And is that happening with her? Possibly. Maybe she never knew this. And a lot of people who first become vegan will watch factory farming videos, will watch difficult, slaughter videos, and they become vegan. And then what happens? They don't continue to watch this. They don't stay informed. And I've talked about this in my podcast when I talk about needing to stay informed. When did she become vegan? 2009, something like that? I bet that was the last video she watched about factory farming. So absolutely she's uninformed, but that doesn't mean she's a horrible person. So, I just don't think she knows. I don't think she knows that, that calf leather, which is probably in her line of shoes, comes from what's called slink or slunk skins from unborn fetuses. These are from dairy cows and from beef cattle, the females, who had stillbirths or who were killed before her baby was born. And that's the calf leather that's sold in these line of shoes and in these purses and wallets. If it's called calf leather, a lot of people don't know. That's what it is. It's the softest leather there is. She can't possibly know that because she wouldn't want to be part of that. She probably hasn't seen the videos on that. She hasn't seen the videos on the global trade in leather. She probably hasn't seen the videos where cats and dogs are also victims of the leather industry. It's bad enough that the calves are. It's bad enough that the cattle are. But she probably doesn't know that dogs and cats are as well. And I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt and hope that she will discover that. Now that's where you come in. Can you inform her? Can you inform her company? Yes. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the judgment, and I have a problem with the presumption that she knows this and she's doing something that's incredibly violent against animals anyway. That's what I have a problem with. So let's just give her the benefit of the doubt and assume she doesn't know. And so let her know. So let her company know. You can write emails, you can write letters, absolutely. You can call. I think that's totally fine. But then let go and have no expectations about what she's going to do with that information. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I think we have expectations because she claims to be vegan. But that's still a problem. That's still a problem on behalf of animals. When we have disappointment, when we're disappointed, it's because we had expectation. Have no expectations, even of someone who calls themselves vegan, especially a stranger who's a celebrity who calls themselves vegan. I'm not saying that it's not, I'd rather she came out with a vegan shoe line, but even then, it's still a business decision. I mean, my God, Beyonce came out with she partnered with Marco and created a vegan food delivery service. How much bashing did she get from the vegan community when she did that? Because when she did that, everyone was like, oh, all she cares about is money. That's all she cares about is money. That she's not really vegan. She came out with a vegan food line, and people criticized Beyonce for that. That's what I talk about in the video on YouTube. So I don't care. If she came out with a vegan shoe line, I bet there'd be people who'd criticize her for that. I don't have any wine tonight. I don't have any wine to calm me down. And she has done a lot for animals. And so the question is, does it negate everything she's done for animals? No. Would I prefer her to not have a line of leather shoes? Yes, but it's no different than anybody else having a line of leather shoes. Did I say vegan shoes? Leather shoes, right? Okay? So even if she came out with like a line of vegan shoes, I'm not even certain that vegans wouldn't criticize her for something. They'd find something to criticize her about. Very worked up. It gets me very, very verklempt. It gets me very verklempt, okay? So look, you know who we need to have expectations of? Who do we need to have expectations of? That's right. That's right. If she's a celebrity, then she's under a microscope, and apparently they're just ready for criticism from everybody. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who should we have expectations of? Because who's the only people we can control? Us. That's it. That's it. That's it. Nobody else. There's nobody else we can control. There's nobody else we have control over except ourselves. That's right. Mario, I like your little emoticons. My little fiery heads. I am very worked up. Did I know she worked for CoverGirl too? Yes. Maybe she doesn't know that CoverGirl, has a line where animals are tested on. Then don't buy CoverGirl. Don't buy CoverGirl. The problem isn't that Ellen is, a representative of CoverGirl. The problem is that animals are being tested on. That's something that we can address, right? She might not know that. But that's not my problem. That's not where I'm going to spend my energy. I'm going to spend it on working with organizations and working with organizations to change the laws for animals and get animals out of testing, right? And then, of course, I'm not going to buy CoverGirl. But it's not worse that Ellen is represented by them. We are disappointed when we have expectations of people. We are disappointed. Do I have to say this over and over? Do I just have to say this over and over? We're disappointed. Whenever we're disappointed, it's because of one thing. One reason alone, and that's because we had expectations. Then she shouldn't say she's vegan. Go ahead. You give her the press report and the press release on what she should say and what she shouldn't say. I don't care what she says. I can't even control that. Maybe she has a different definition of vegan than I do. I can only control what I do and what I say and how I represent veganism. One of the problems I have with the way we lionize celebrities is that we expect them somehow to be role models and somehow stepped up. They're supposed to, they're the ones that are supposed to be role models and but she said she's vegan and she's a celebrity. And so we have more expectations of her than us. We're all role models. Every one of us is a role model, and that's all we can take care of. That's all we can control. So what I'm saying to you is, what I'm saying to you, and I said this about Beyonce too, like, she didn't get your press release. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to control what people say. And I don't even know how much she said she's been vegan. You know, a lot of times what happens is, you know, I don't know how, you know, she's been asked in interviews. I've seen interviews where, you know, people have asked her if she's vegan. Maybe she doesn't really, you know, I don't know. Everybody has a different, you know, these misconceptions about what vegan is. And all I can do is try and clarify and simplify what vegan is, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm not saying that again, you can't communicate what you want to communicate to her, but even if you do, even if you send her a press release on what vegan is, step back and let go, because you still have no control over what she's going to do about that and what she's going to do with that information. That includes your brother and your sister and your friend and your neighbor and your celebrity. So Daniel says, I agree, but do you ever slip up and realize you've had expectations of someone? Of course. I mean, I'm a practicing human. Like, that means I'm imperfect. That means I'm doing the best I can. And when I have been disappointed and bitched about it and complained about it and blamed someone else, because of course I've done that. I am not saying that I'm immune to this. All I'm saying is here's some food for thought. When I've realized that I've been disappointed and complained about someone else, you know, doing something to me, I realized, that was all me, because I had expectations of them. I am a practicing human. That's what I am. I'm a practicing human, and I'm not going to be great at it all the time. I know, I like that. I just kind of came up with that. Practicing human. Hashtag practicing human. Practicing human, right? I mean, we don't get a manual. And so, no, of course I'm not immune to this at all. There's one definition of vegan, right? Sorry, I don't mean to argue. Otherwise, just be vegetarian. That's fine. That's not but the point still is, call yourself vegan, represent what vegan means, be the best representative of veganism, be the best ambassador of veganism, clarify what it means for people, and that's all you can do. That's what I'm saying. So even having a discussion like, well, then she shouldn't call herself vegan, it's moot. Like, it's a moot point. Like, the point is, you be the best ambassador for veganism. You clarify what veganism is, right? Does that make sense? That's my point, is I'm trying to get the attention off of focusing on her and trying to get it on focusing on us and what we can do, because that's all we can do is we can clarify, and we can be the best ambassadors. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Again, that doesn't mean we don't speak up for what we believe in. That doesn't mean we don't speak up for the animals. That doesn't mean we don't romanticize the leather industry. That doesn't mean we don't convey information to people. That doesn't mean we don't give inspiration to people. That doesn't mean we don't make sure people have the facts. That's not what I'm saying. We want to say all of those things. All of those things need to happen every single day, but by us. And we need to be the best ambassadors, and we need to be the best representatives, and we need to be the best spokespeople. And what someone else does, if they're even a poor spokesperson for veganism, or they're misrepresenting veganism, you can clarify with them. But to complain about it and to be disappointed by it, that's what I'm saying is our mistake. This is why so many well-intended vegans leave veganism, especially celebrities. Well, I think a lot of the reason people leave veganism is because they didn't have support. They were judged by other people. They didn't have clarity of what vegan really means. But also, I do think that there's an element where if you don't have the information and you don't think of those cows being slaughtered and you don't think of cats and dogs being part of this industry and calves coming out of their mothers stillborn and being stripped so that their skin can be used for the leather industry, if you're not thinking of those things, you're going to start to slip. And that's what I mean about being the vegan in the room and making sure that we're always conveying this information and speaking the truth for animals. That's why I think people slip, is because they don't have like-minded people around them. Now, someone might say, well, Portia, well, it's true, but I'm not in their lives. I don't know Ellen from Adam. I don't know Ellen from Portia. Like, I don't know Portia from Adam. I don't know Portia from Eve. I don't know what they do in their daily lives. All I can do in my daily life is be the best representative I can be and convey the information the best I can, so that someone learns something new. Let me ask you this. Is there someone on this scope who didn't know what I was saying about the leather industry? Is there someone who didn't know about this, the slink or the slunk skin? It's called slinks or slunks. That's the fetuses that are used in the leather industry. So you didn't know, Chris? Is it Krista? You didn't know. Raises your hand. I didn't know. Okay, well, you've been on this scope now, and you know what? You just found out information you didn't know before you came on this scope. Ellen didn't do that on her show, but you came on. Look at all these people saying that. You had no idea, and you knew because of the podcast, because you came to this information, you were open, and now you know more information that you can now convey to other people. And I do really recommend that you go listen to the episode called Leather is Not an Innocent Byproduct. It's at Food for Thought. It's at joyfulvegan.com. You can find it under the podcast, or just go to iTunes or Stitcher, okay? Slunk is a word, and so is, so slink and slunk. It's called slunk skin or slink skin. That's what they're called, and that refers to the unborn fetuses or the just young, calf leather, basically. It is sad. It's horrible. But, we're incredibly good at cognitive dissonance. Maybe Portia and Ellen sit at dinner every night and talk about the meat industry and how horrible it is, and yet they're not talking about the leather industry because they don't know. Or, we've seen these pictures. I put it out on my Twitter about today's episode, that she's been to Gentle Barn. She's hugged cows, right? And yet I know people who grew up on dairy farms and they didn't know that the male calves were being sold to slaughter upon being born to dairy cows. I know people who grew up on dairy farms who didn't know the male calves were being slaughtered because they are males and they have no use in the dairy industry because they're males and they don't have uteruses and they don't lactate, right? That's cognitive dissonance. That you grow up on a dairy farm and you don't know that. Are they stupid? No. We are incredibly good at compartmentalizing what we need to know and what we don't want to know because it's convenient. I'm a male cow, and I didn't know that. I'm a male cow. Well, first of all, you can't be a male cow, Carbon Marvin, because a cow means female. So you might be a bull if you're uncastrated, or you'd be a steer if you're castrated. Food for thought. Someone just said something about cocoa. I wish I had cocoa. Sorry, this light is really weird. I look very, there. That's a little better. Okay, Carmen Marvin. Sorry to break it to you. I look bronze. I do look bronze. I'm not trying to. It's this light. And now the light's going down. If I put my hand over the camera a little bit, it's a little better. But, okay, so we're incredibly good at cognitive dissonance. That's what's going on. We are really good at being asleep. Is Ellen not vegan? Well, Taylor, that's the big question. So, I don't know at this point what she is or what she's not or how she self-identifies. I have no idea. She self-identified as vegan a few years ago. She now has a leather shoe line. So let her know. Call the company, write to the company, and write to the company about what you just found out about. Ask the company if they're aware of cats and dogs being used in the leather industry. Listen to the podcast episode. If you're a member, if you actually support the podcast, you get these transcripts. You can get the transcript, and it gives you all the details. You can have it in writing. You can write to Ellen's company, and you can ask them if they are aware of these details, not in a judgmental way, not in a gotcha kind of way, not in an arrogant, self-righteous kind of way, but just say to them, I know Ellen is a good person. I am certain she is. And I just want to know, perhaps, I don't want to know. I wonder if you know this information. I wonder if you know this information or if Ellen needs this information, if Ellen has this information, and I thought you might want this, and then step back. That's what you can do. Do it. Yeah, do it. Absolutely. You can write to Ellen's company. I think you can also write to EB. You know what? I'll put it on, let's see, where should I put it? I'll put it on Twitter. I think there's a website. If you just search for EB by Ellen, I think there's a customer service email address you can write to. I didn't see anything you guys just wrote. So Taylor, I would email. I think email, well, I mean, you can write a letter too if you want, but I think email's easier. You can also call, but I think there's a better chance of it getting to her if it's written. I think Ellen should get this information from Colleen on her show. It's not going to happen. People, you know, she doesn't know me from Adam, and how does she know I'm not going to go on her show and disgrace her, like, you know, or embarrass her? People don't want to be embarrassed. And that's what I mean about how you convey this information. You have to convey this information. We have to convey this information in a way that will be heard. It can't be done in a way that's going to shame someone. We don't listen. Do any of you listen if someone shames you about something? Someone very smart said you must do your best in an imperfect world. Give credit where due. Oh, I see what you're saying. Unfortunately, I don't know any vegans. The ones I come in contact with are radicals and bullies. Well, stick with us because we're not bullies here. I know that was me, suburban. So thank you, everybody. That's very sweet. Thank you, Chris Adams. No. Who among you responds when someone embarrasses you or shames you or makes you feel bad about information that you didn't know? Because I bet she doesn't know any of this. I'm sure she doesn't know how toxic the environmental effects of the tanning industry. It's carcinogenic. We're like producing carcinogens, cancer-causing substances in the tanning industry. Ask the company. Tell the company about this. They probably don't know. That's right. You shut down. You shut down in those situations. People don't respond to shaming. So whether you're writing to her representatives at her company, or you're writing directly to her, or you're putting something on Twitter, do not do it. And I don't even think publicly is the way to do it. I mean, again, you can convey information publicly. I think that's okay. But always know what your intentions are. And always know that your intentions are to convey information, not to be right, not to win, not to have a victorious, self-righteous, arrogant feeling, because it feels so good, right? Nothing tastes sweeter than self-righteousness. Nothing does, right? But chocolate tastes pretty good too. So put that away and have some chocolate instead. So what would an effective tweet say? I think that's a good question, Taylor. You know, I would again, be really clear about your intentions before you send it. Make sure the intention is to plant seeds rather than, you know, be right and, or to change her mind, and say, you know, it could be something along the lines of, you know, Ellen, I love everything you do. You know, I'm going to give it longer than 140 characters. I don't know. Love what you do. I didn't know, but I would keep it about you, right? I didn't know, whatever it is, whatever bit of information you want to say, that the leather industry subsidizes the meat industry. That's why meat is so cheap, because so much profit is from animal skins. I had no idea that. That kind of approach is so effective because someone will read that and not take it like you're telling them this, but rather you're sharing this information that happens to get into their brain when they're reading it. And we're smart enough to know what that means in terms of how to take it. I have to take my sweater off. I'm so hot from being so excitable. Right? So it can be something like, you know, I had no idea, you know, I wanted to share with you something I learned. You know, those are the kinds of things, those are the kinds of ways to say it. I didn't know that. Not even I thought you might like to know. Not even that. Because as soon as it's that, then you have an expectation of what she's going to do with that information. Does that make sense? So I would keep it absolutely about the information and about your experience getting that information. Shirt swag, what are you saying? WWCPGD? Well, you got to spell my name right. Put DG. That's my husband's initials. WWCPGD. Yeah. No. Yeah, D, because the D is the do part. So, yeah, I do have, I don't think I have WWCPGD shirts because that feels really arrogant to make what would Colleen do shirts. So if you want to make them, you can make them and you can sell them. Do I think message t-shirts are too off-putting to others? That's a good question. Gotta go. I didn't see who that was, but thanks for joining. I didn't see who it was. I'm sure I know and love you, but I didn't see who it was. Kelly, yeah, WWCPGD. That's right. We're making your creamy mac and cheese right now. I want my creamy mac and cheese. That's so unfair, Shandy. Someone make the shirts, and my opinion on faux fur. Okay, let me just answer the question about the t-shirts and the message shirts. I think it's really a matter of your own personality. I don't tend to wear message shirts. It's just not my personality. I don't like calling attention to myself. That's just me. I want to make a shirt that says Satan worshiper. There is actually shirts. Go to Herbivore. They have a lot of shirts. And I love Herbivore so much, but like David and I even were laughing at the one that came up. What's the one? It's like, what does it say? It's like, what kind of asshole eats lamb or something like that? And I don't know. I could never wear that shirt, but it does make me laugh. Like, it makes me laugh, but I would never wear that shirt, and neither would my husband. But some people respond to that. Some people respond to it when they see those kinds of shirts. I do carry tote bags, so I do tend to have tote bags. Two City Vegans, I love that. I couldn't wear it either. I know. I love it because it's kind of like... It's funny, but I couldn't wear it. So it's really a matter of your own personality. Eat like you give a damn. I also have a problem with it's telling someone what to do. I guess I would prefer I eat like I give a damn. I don't know. That's just me. Anything that just, there are too many that just are like, they admonish the person who would be reading it. And I have a problem with that. You have a shirt that says kale. That's something I would wear. It starts conversations. It does. This is just me. I have no problem with it at all. I have no problem with it. I have to put a light on here because I'm going to be in the dark any second. Okay. And then I'll answer a couple more questions and then we'll go. So thanks for your hearts. You can tap on the screen for your hearts. You can talk amongst yourselves for 20 seconds and you can share because there's still time to share. You can still share even if it's in the rebroadcast. Okay. I think that's a little better. Maybe. I don't eat anything that poops. Sure. And you have a Joyful Vegan t-shirt. Yes, I love my Joyful Vegan shirt. I wear my Joyful Vegan shirt. My body's not a graveyard. I don't know. I guess I don't like that one because it implies that yours is. I don't know. I'm very sensitive to it. I have a little veganism never hurt anyone. That's cute. I think that's cute. Yeah, that's cute. Again, I am not judging anybody for wearing these shirts or what these shirts say. I do have shirts on my site. So if you go to joyfulvegan.com and you go to the store, the shop, you'll see all of my shirts, all the Joyful Vegan shirts. And then there's the shirts that we call the Words to Live By. And it basically takes the cut of a pig, how the butcher cut of a pig or a cow. And instead of, flank and rib and, I don't know, whatever it says for the meat, it says compassion and love and nonviolence, peace, whatever it says. So, yay, you guys are so sweet. I love that you have these. You're so sweet. You have the pig one. I love it. Okay. So go to joyfulvegan.com and you can get the shirts there. Thanks for sharing, Taylor. Thanks for sharing, guys. It's always great for you guys to share. The more you share, the more people who know about these conversations, because I think they're so important to have. Yeah. Go to joyfulvegan.com. So someone asked me about how I feel about faux fur. It's really interesting, isn't it? I do wear, faux leather, right? I do wear vegan leather, faux leather. People know I have a problem calling meat fake, vegan meat fake. I don't use that word for meat, i.e. seitan. But I don't have a problem using fake leather because people know what it is right away. But vegan leather is also fine, I think, when we're talking about, Matt and Nat and the wonderful purses and bags they make. But fur, it feels a little different. I think because faux leather, fake leather, has been around long enough that people don't presume that you're wearing cow leather. They don't presume that you're wearing skin because the quality is so much better than it ever used to be for purses, for shoes, for briefcases, for, I almost said valises. It's from 1950. Suitcases, that kind of thing. But fur, I do feel like it's promoting fur. And belts, exactly. But maybe down the road when there's enough fake fur that's the norm, I'll change my tune. But right now, yeah, I wouldn't wear fake fur. Now, I have sweaters that look like cashmere, they're soft. They don't look like cashmere, but they're softer, kind of polyester or whatever. And that same thing, it's like a fine line, but, I'm not going to have the opportunity every time someone meets me to say, this is not from a, sheep, this is not from a goat. But again, I think there's enough really good, high quality synthetic materials out there that have been around for a while. But where it comes to fur, yeah, I don't feel the same way about that. Animal print fabric, that's a really good question. So no, I don't have a problem with animal print fabric. Because I think most people assume that you're not really wearing a zebra skin. I mean, let's face it, you know, I just think most people know that. Or you know, a tiger skin or leopard or whatever it is. So I don't really have a problem with that as much, but I don't need to wear faux fur button with it. Exactly. If you're wearing fur, like fake fur, I could see wearing a button with that to let people know that it's fake fur. Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of one of those cases where it's like, you know, sometimes there are fine lines. It's not just black and white. It's not always the same situation in every case, but you know, that's just, I don't know. It's just the nature of things. So, so thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for participating. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your compassion. I appreciate my audience so much. And like I said, I think it's really, sad that I think my scopes would be a lot more popular if I was a little more, well, I couldn't be more effervescent, but I think if I just kind of towed a line that just said, yeah, she sucks, I think I would have more followers, and I think that's just too bad. But I don't necessarily believe that in general. I just mean, like, I really appreciate my audience so much because I just know your integrity is so high, and you really believe in rising to the higher ground. And I believe that when we rise and speak to the highest in people, I believe people speak back to from the highest in them. And I really do believe that. I am effervescent, Pris Adams, for sure. Yeah, so that's what I would leave everybody with. I would leave everybody with, let's all be practicing humans. And I would leave everybody with, when we speak to the highest in people, people speak from the highest in them. I really think that's true. Take the high road or the big road. It's usually the high road. You're welcome, Calamond 18. Calamond, thank you so much. You're thoughtful and intelligent. You've changed me. That's wonderful. Practicing human. Be the change. There's the shirt. Where's the shirt? What's the shirt? Oh, yeah, right. When we speak to the highest in people, people speak from the highest in them. I believe that. Or just practicing human. I like practicing human. Should I make a shirt that says I'm a practicing human or practicing human? What do you think? Tap, 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 tap. What do you think? You like that? What would it say? It would just say, like, practicing human, right? Because, like, people would say practicing Buddhist or something like that. Tweetable, when you speak to the highest in people, people speak from the highest in them. Yes, please tweet that, Eden. Please do. Please do. Please do. Yes, I like that. Practicing human. So just it would just say practicing human. Is that what it would say? Human in progress or something like that. I guess that would be weird. Human in progress. That's weird. Okay, just forget that. I'm not going to overthink it. Practicing human animal. Okay, that might be pushing it a little bit. We don't want to like hurt people's brains because there's too many things to think about. With an L plate for learner, I don't get that. What do you mean with an L plate for learner? I'm not aware of what that means. Does L connote like that you're just like beginning stage or you're in the learning stage? Vegan in progress? Well, no, I don't like vegan in progress because, all right, so for those who were asking about kind of should Ellen call herself vegan, whatever, 100% vegan, I have the YouTube video called I Am 100% Vegan, I Am Imperfect, because I do believe that by virtue of being vegan, we are imperfect. So I don't know, vegan in progress might mean that you're vegetarian because you're on your way to being vegan, but vegan does mean already that we're imperfect. You know, someone was asking me if I ever find myself being disappointed in people. Like, of course I do. But because I have expectations, because it was my fault. So again, I'm a practicing human, but of course I'm imperfect. But that means that goes with my veganism as well. That's just part of who I am. It's just part of my imperfections because it's an imperfect world. So now I'm quoting myself. So okay, practicing human, and we're gonna sit with that. We're gonna sit with that. Okay, yeah, suburban, yeah, thank you. I do overthink things if you haven't noticed, but Some good friends of mine. If you guys remember Erin Grayson, Erin Red, she was doing she had her podcast for a while, Erin Red. I think she's coming back. She's a good friend. Go follow Erin. She's great. And then Stephanie also, she's this very Gorczynski, I think. She's also on Twitter. One time they characterized me in one word, and it was really, really it was perfect. It was very apropos, and it was #accuracy. That's me. I like things to be characterized accurately. And so I might argue things, little things like that, like it might be a word that I argue about, or just a way something's put. And it's because I just believe in #accuracy. so that's my hashtag. Yes, and Erin is the one who has a tattoo on her arm that says, you guys know what it says? Erin is the one who started all of this, because Erin is the one who tattooed on her arm. You remember? Erin tattooed on her arm WWCPGD. It's actually over here. It's not here. It's not here. It's over here. Right? It's on this arm. Yeah. She tattooed on her arm WWCPGD. So she's the one who started the what would Colleen Patrick-Goudreau do? Yeah, she did. Yeah, I think you're trying to type that, Suzanne. Yeah. So anyway, so it's her, she's dedicated, and I think it's her reminder. She told me that it was her reminder because she would often say, what would Colleen do? And so she tattooed it on her arm. I hope I have lived up to her expectations exactly. The first thing I thought when I saw that was like, I don't need that kind of pressure. I don't need that kind of pressure. But she did it, and it's permanent. Well, until it's not. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much. It is pretty awesome, Rose. Thank you. If I had a talk show, we can call it WWCPGD. I thought about it, Taylor. I actually was going to do it. Anyway, this is my talk show. This is it here. And someday, who knows where it will go. But love to you all. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. You can still share it with people. People can watch the rebroadcast. Thank you again. You're a force of kindness our community needs. Well, I'm happy to be here. See you tomorrow. Thanks for shining the light. You are welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Pris. Thanks for joining us. Everybody who's new, thanks for coming. And I hope to see you again. I hope you're already following me. And for those who are regulars, thank you so much. You are welcome. Kisses, kisses. Love you guys. And I'm going to go check out the deer because I think I hear them out there. Drink my tea. No. It's no more tea time. It is now wine time. And I have a meeting at 7:30. So I have some people coming over at 7:30 for a meeting. And human, what is it? I just forgot. Human in progress. No, that was what it's not. No. Human, what is it? Human, practicing human. Okay, practicing human. Okay. Bye, everybody. Dishing. I'm dishing out the tea today. I'm dishing out the tea. Okay. Practicing human. Goodbye. Goodbye, fellow practicing humans. Ciao. Ciao. Bye, everybody. Practicing human. Got it. Practicing human. All right. Fellow practicing humans. Goodbye.